25th of May, Rabbi Levitt, Gemorah.
Okay, welcome back.
Thank you, Rabbi.
So, okay, so we let's do some Bava Kama. So we were in the middle of we got up to this long Rashi. It's time to do this long Rashi.
Oh, the 25-line Rashi, yeah.
And Phil said he's on a tool today.
Right. Okay, so it's Chayev be Peter Peret. So this was we're talking about the man who makes his field hefker.
Right.
And he gets up early in the morning and he goes out and he harvests it. And then it says he's chayav for all of the different things except for the one thing was the what does it say he's not chayav for? You shall Meiser, that's what it is, Meiser. He's chayav for everything except Meiser. And now this Rashi is on the phrase that he's chayav for parrot, which I think we said that was the gleanings, the things that drop on the ground.
Parrot. Rashi told us. Peret bekerem, beleket bekama. So it's the same. Rashi says it's the same thing as leket in regard to the standing stalks of grain. What it is, it's just a different word for being malaket, the things that have fallen down in the course of the harvesting of the vineyard of the Karen.
That even though the hefker, that it's hefker, it's ownerless. Pater mechulam diksiv. What is mechulam?
It's a pater miklum.
Miklum from everything.
Yeah, this is a bit tricky over here. Does it mean from everything or from nothing?
Oh.
We'll have to see as Rashi develops his point over here. But
okay.
Even in other words, even there's a. I think it might. I think what might be happening over here is that the question of over here is going to be, is he really? I mean, right now that the field is hefker, so it doesn't belong to anybody, and he's just a private person, just like anybody else in the world who's coming to pick his grapes over here. Why should he be obligated to give any of these grapes that he's picking on a hefker field to an ani? He's not the owner of the field now. So how does this work exactly? So it could be that it could be that this is what Rashi is saying. Afogad, even though the hefker pater miklum, even though that a field which is hefker is patur from everything.
Even though it's putter from everything, dichsiv, artzecha, shedin, vikarmecha, mehani, to azov. It is written, your land that the law for the vineyard from this ta'azov Yisera le meute ki hai gavna delo have hefker. So what is this ta'azov?
Okay, this is the famous ta'azov Yisera that I don't think we ever actually looked up. But what we're saying over here is that when it comes to, we were analyzing the mitzvah of Peah. I think we actually did look up the psukim, but the pasuk says without looking in the pasuk and making a whole big deal about the psukim over here. What does it mean, ta'azov yasera? The word ta'azov means to leave it, to let it. Don't take it, leave it where it is. So certainly, when it comes to the mitzvah of Peah, you have to have an expression of ta'azov in order to express that that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to not take everything there in the field, and you're supposed to be ta'azov. You're supposed to leave. You're supposed to be leaving a portion of it for the mitzvah of Peah to give to the ani. So what the ta'azov Yisera means you've got an extra expression in the psukim of ta'azov. You have a second expression of leaving it. So the question is, since it's not necessary for the pasuk to say 2 times, leave it for the ani, and leave it for the ani. So therefore we learn out from the ta'azov Yisera, we're going to learn out that the Torah is telling us a drasha that even in a certain case, which you might not have thought, you have a mitzvah still to give Peah. You would have thought to say, I'm patur from the mitzvah of Peah in this case. Comes along the Torah to say, ta'azov that case too. In that case also be ta'azov. You also have a mitzvah of Peah in that case as well. So that's the idea of the ta'azov Yisera. And so what Rashi is saying over here so far is that even though this field is now officially, halachically, hefker, it doesn't belong to anybody because the owner was mafker the vineyard. It was his vineyard and he was mafker it. So now it doesn't belong to him anymore. So that's what Rashi's saying over here in the first few words. Afogav the hefker patur miklum, even though a field which is hefker is exempt from, would appear to be exempt from all of these mitzvahs of having to give from the field to anim. And then Rashi supports that point by saying diksiv, because it's written in the pasuk, it's when it's talking about the mitzvah of Peah and all of these different mitzvahs of Leket, it says Artsacha, your land. Actually, it says Artsachem in the pasuk, not Artsacha. So the printer must have made a mistake over here in the transcribing the Rashi's words. But and it says Sadecha. Sadecha, it says Karmacha. All of these words mean in your field, the field that belongs to you, in your kerem, in your vineyard. So it sounds like it's got to be yours in order for you to have the mitzvah to give from your field that you own to the ani. Nevertheless, says Rashi, Mahani tazov yaseira lemuute ki hai gavna the lo have hefker. The extra tazov that we say that there is in the parsha of Peah, we have an extra tazov that says a second time, and leave it for the ani. That is, says Rashi, is going to be mahani. It's going to accomplish something. It's going to accomplish, this tazov Yisrael is going to accomplish lemuute, to exclude a certain case from the pasuk that says that it has to be yours. 1 second. Mahani tazov Yisera lemuute. This extra tazov is going to achieve a certain achieve and accomplish a certain thing, to make a mute, to make an exception and an exclusion. He high gavna in this particular fashion. The lo have hefker, that it will not be regarded as halachically hefker, liftor, to exempt this individual who did this trick over here of the mitzvah of Peah.
So even if the land is, when he reclaims the land, he's still obligated.
Right. That's what the Brisa says over here. If we look in the words of the Brisa,
Mm-hmm.
the Brisa says kedesanya, like it says in the Brisa, hamafkir karmo. He gets up. He what do you call it? He declares his field ownerless, his vineyard. He declares his vineyard ownerless, and then it says veheshkim laboker. Then he gets up early in the morning, ubatzro, and he starts doing the harvesting of the grapes of this field. What's the din in this case? The Brisa says he's chayav beperetz, ubeolalos, ubeshichacha, ubepeya. He's chayav in all of these four obligations that the Torah places upon the owner of the field, of the vineyard. Upater mina meiser. However, he is going to be exempt from the mitzvah of giving meiser. He's going to be putter from giving, right, trumas and meisers. That he'll be putter from. But these other mitzvahs, he's going to be obligated in, even though it would appear that the field is ownerless. So it seems as though Rashi is learning over here that this guy didn't get up in the morning and try to make an acquisition to be zocha in the field. No, the field is hefker. He declared yesterday that the field is hefker, and now he's just going as a as anybody else in the world would have a right to do, to go and pick grapes from this ownerless field, this ownerless vineyard. And nevertheless, the Brisa says that he is going to be obligated to give Peret, Ololos, Shechacha, and Peah. So the question is, well, how can you obligate him? On what basis is he obligated to give any of his pickings to the ani over here? He's picking the field. He's picking a field that is ownerless. It's not his field. Why is he obligated to give these presents of to the ani? So that's the question that Rashi is dealing with over here. And Rashi seems to be saying that yeah, right. Even though the field is ownerless, he has not reclaimed the field, which it would appear would be a difficult thing to do. Well, whatever. We're not going to get into that. But it doesn't seem that Rashi is saying that he has that he comes and gets up in the morning and attempts to reclaim his ownership of the field. Rashi didn't say that that's what he did. All we know from the Gemorah is that he declared his field ownerless, and now it says he gets up in the morning, and he early in the morning, and he starts ubatzaro. He goes in about harvesting the grapes from the field. That's all. And nevertheless, it says that he's obligated in the mitzvah of Peah, as well as many other mitzvahs, to give to the ani. So Rashi is explaining us why is he chayiv in these mitzvahs? Because that's what the Tazov Yisera accomplishes. This is the purpose of the extra Tazov in the pasuk. It said twice in the pasuk, leave it for the ani, and make sure that you leave it for the ani. Why do we have a second time and make sure that you leave it for the ani? Says Rashi, that's exactly why we have that extra tazov, to leave it for the ani for a case like this. That even in this case, he's going to be obligated to give to the ani. Okay, we go further. So we had a little break, so it doesn't feel like Lou has to read 25 lines in one go.
Okay, for Afagav, and even though Shepatur mean Hamaiser, even though he is exempt from Meiser,
yeah,
Ubechol Hane, and with all of these, Kasiv, it's written Ta'azov Yasera. It's written, and you shall leave it an extra time. The Kedushin, in Kedushim, Kasiv, Karmecha, it's written, your vineyard. Lo Te'olal, Uprat V'kule. What is this word Te'olal?
That's one of the types of gifts that he has to get. He has to leave for the ani. This is a what do we have over here for this Te'olel? We could look it up in Parshas Kedoshim, actually. There's a pasuk in Parshas Kedoshim. Rashi says, basically what Rashi has said so far, if you'll ask me, why, but Rashi, what about the fact that the Brisa says he's succeeded and exempting himself from Meiser? Rashi says, that's right, he's exempt from Meiser, that's what the Brisa says. And then he he quickly leaves that subject and doesn't get into that subject whatsoever to explain why it is that that he is in fact not chayav in meiser. But I believe the reason why is because it doesn't need any explanation. It's easy to understand. It seems to me why it is that he's exempt from the mitzvah of separating trumas and meisus over here. It's very easy to understand.
Because he doesn't own it.
Yeah, the field doesn't belong to him. What needs explanation is what Rashi is focusing on. Why is it that he's still chayav in these other mitzvahs on a land that he doesn't own? That's what Rashi needs to explain. So that's what he's going about to explain. He's saying his answer has been so far because it says an extra tazo. So now Rashi's saying like this. He's saying, oh, if you'll ask me that, but Rashi, it only says an extra tazo by the mitzvah of peah. And the Brisa says that he's chayav in peret and in olalos and in shichacha. So where's the extra tazov for those mitzvahs? You got to give me a tazov yisera for those mitzvahs too. Says Rashi, right? I'm going to give you right now. Go take a look in Parshas Kedoshim, and you will see that you'll see what I'm talking about over there as well. That's what Rashi says over here. Bakol hani, in all of these, meaning in these mitzvahs of parrots and olalos and shechacha, you will find a tazov yisera in the psukim over there, just like you did in the mitzvah of peah. And he's quoting where it is that you can find these psukim. So his first place that he sends us to is Parshas Kedoshim, which is in Sefer Vayikra. And we're not going to have too much help because we don't know exactly the chapter and verse, but we'll try to look around for it, I guess. Then he says there's also a pasuk in Mishnah Torah, which is Devorim.
What's the mem?
Yeah, what is that? What is that? I actually have a Chaf Daled.
Oh, yeah, it's a Chaf Daled. It looked like a mem.
Oh, okay. So you have the same Chaf Daled I have. Okay.
Yeah, I do. It's just very small.
Is it?
Maybe it means Perik Chaf Daled. I don't know.
Is it a chafta? Is it in Deuteronomy?
Yeah, Mishnah Torah is Deuteronomy, correct?
Deuteronomy. So 24:19, 19 to 21.
Oh, okay.
Is that right? I'm reading from.
Oh, you're looking in the footnote.
Yes.
Oh, the footnote gives you all the sources. Okay, great. So we know where they are. So you have one in Sefer Vayikra.
Right, that says 19, 9, and 10.
Right.
And it says Si Rashash.
Okay, should we look that one up?
Yeah.
That'll be in Vayikra 19:10.
Okay, so it has the word ta'azov in it. I'll be right back, Roy.
Okay. Here's my art scroll in Sefer Vayikra.
Okay. Dramatic cover.
19, 9 and 10. Okay. Oh, it's the very beginning of the Parsha. Okay. Ubekutzrechem es ketzir artzachem. In your harvesting of the grain of your field, lo sechaleh pa'as sodcha. Don't totally consume the corner of your field. Liksor v'leket kitzircha lo salaket. Oh, liksor, comma. There's an asnachta under the word liksor. Don't reap the grain of your field completely. Leave over a corner. And then the next part of the pasuk says, "V'leket kitzircha lo salaket." Oh, and what is leket, by the way? Leket of your reapings. Do not gather them up. It says Rashi shibolim hano sharim b'shas ketzira achas oshtayim. Right, in the course of doing the reaping of the wheat stalks. So sometimes in the course of the reaping, there's one or two of the stalks that fall on the ground, and so that's now called leket. Oh, you have to leave that. That's called leket. You have to leave it. Don't pick it up. But if 3 stalks fall down, so then that's not leket. So that's what Ruth Hamoavia distinguished herself in the field of Boaz. That she was very careful to go after the leket in the fields. Only the wheat stalks that fell 1 or 2, but not 3. She would not take that. So that they noticed that she number one knew the halacha, and that she was very had a lot of integrity. Didn't want to take something that didn't belong to her. Okay, so that's the mitzvah of leket. And by the way, we see over here that so far we're talking about artzachem. That's what Rashi mentioned. It says artzachem in this pasuk. So if the person was mafkir, so it's not artzachem anymore. The mitzvah of peah and leket would seem to be on artzachem. But we're going to look and see. We're going to find a tazov.
Are you looking in Vayikra 19:10?
Yeah.
Because I have karmicha.
Yeah, the verse 9 was talking about reaping a
I see.
a sada.
I see.
So
Okay.
we're talking about leket over there. We're talking about leket and peah of a sada. And
Right.
now we got pasuk yud. It says karmacha. We're now talking about a vineyard.
Right.
Karmacha lo sa'olel. Uperet karmacha lo salaket. La'ani v'lager ta'azovosam. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. So here we see that it says don't do olel in your vineyard, and don't be malakate the parrots of your kerem. So we see over here, like Rashi told us, that the parrots is really the corresponding mitzvah. It corresponds to the mitzvah of leket in a sadeh, because it says the parrot of your kerem lo salaket. So it's the pasuk is saying, don't do leket, don't violate the isser of leket with the parrots of your vineyard. You're probably asking, whoever saw parrots in a vineyard? But that is a good question. But over here, what are the parrots over here in this vineyard? So Rashi says parrot karmacha is not like the parrots that I have on my computer screen. Rashi says that they are gargire anovim hanosharim b'shas betzira. They are, I guess, single grapes, single individual grapes, or perhaps gargire. Maybe gargire are even clumps, a small clump of grapes. I'm not sure exactly how to translate gargire, but they are left. They're left on. They're no sharim. They fall down onto the ground b'shas betzira at the time of the harvest of the grapes. The betzira corresponds to the kitsira of the wheat stalks.
Mm.
Each type of produce has its own specific words.
Right. So,
now, there's a Rashi over here, lo sa'olel. What does that involve? It says in the pasuk, karmacha lo sa'olel. Says Rashi, lo titol olelos shaba. Don't take the olelos of the kerem. So this is in other words, this is a different mitzvah. We were talking before about the parrots of the kerem. Now we're talking about the olel of the kerem. It's a separate mitzvah.
the olelos is
What are they? Rashi asks the question himself.
mhm.
First he says, Lo sitol olelos shaba vehein nikoros. Don't take the olelos that are there in the kerem, and they are the ones that are ezehu olelos. What are they exactly though? Kol she'ein lo katef v'lo natef.
The article says it's in Leviticus 19:10.
Anavim keshurim sabuchim ze beze ve'echad shochev al hasheni kemasa al katef ish. You have, in other words, what is Rashi saying over here? It doesn't have a shoulder. It doesn't have
a what?
katef.
It doesn't have a what?
Katef is a shoulder. But what does it mean that this cluster of grapes doesn't have a shoulder? That's what needs explanation over here. So I have on the bottom from the Sifsei Chachamim explains the words of Rashi, Pirish Imeshkolos hanovim kashurim usebuchim ze bezeh. If you've got two clusters of grapes, and they are somehow tangled up with one another.
Uh-huh.
Ve'echad shochev al hasheni, and one of them is lying on top of the other one. Kamase al katef ish, just like you have a load which is resting on the shoulders of a man. Ze nikra katef. That's what Rashi means when he says the katef. It's a cluster of grapes which doesn't have a katef. It doesn't have it doesn't have a second cluster which is tangled up with it, which is resting on top of it. Ve'im hem muvdolim utluyim lamata ze nikra natef or nataf. If they but even if the clusters are moved out from one another, they are separate and distinct, tangled up with one another. Utluyim lamata, and they are hanging down towards the ground. Ze nikra natef. That's called natef that Rashi mentions over here.
Are they still attached?
What?
Are they still attached to the vine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe so. Kihema katipin nivdalim notafim lamata.
So they're attached to the vine and they're hanging down towards the ground, but they're not touching each other. Is that the situation?
Yeah. Kihema katifim nivdalim notafim lamata. Ve'im yesh rak gargirei anovim beroshe hagafanim ze nikra olelos. Yehema katanim ka'olalim ve'yonkim. Olel is really another type of a word for a very young child. So these are the young.
So is olelos referring to grapes, and they're referring to grape clusters that are entangled or not entangled?
Which word?
Olelos.
They are they're the, it sounds like they are the sounds like they are the immature ones, the smaller ones. Gargire anavim, like singular ones. Gargire anavim anosharim b'shas b'tzira. It doesn't translate what the gigiri is. Gargire anavim b'roshe hagafanim. At the ends of the grapevine. Oh, they're the you just have they're called ololos, kihema katanim. They're small. These are small I guess clusters of grapes, which are found at the end of the grapevine, as opposed to the ones that are, I guess, not found at the end, that are big ones. They're more big and more grapes on them.
But they're not entangled. It's nothing to do with being entangled.
You're right.
So Rashi on Pasuk 10 Rashi says, Rashi defines this word olelos, which the translation says small separate bunches. He describes them as kol she'ein lo chasef velo netef, not natef. According to Sifri, in the English says grapes that are hanging on a stalk which has no arm and no trunk.
Oh, okay. That's sounds like a different interpretation of what Rashi's saying.
Yeah, and this is according to the Sifri, Sifra.
Well, the language that Rashi's quoting is from the. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So in any case, we have over here in these two psukim, we have a reference to the mitzvah of peah in the sodeh, in the field, and we have a reference to the mitzvah of leket in the field, or in the eretz artzachem. Second pasuk yud, to the mitzvahs in the kerem, the mitzvahs of the grapevines, and we see there's a mitzvah of olelos, olel, and there's a mitzvah of parrots.
Mm-hmm.
And we see that the word tazov appears in the second pasuk over here. So that's Kol Haniksiv Tazov Yisera.
I think maybe we should have a review tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Thursday. Of each of these.
Oh, it's already time.
Yeah, maybe we could have a review tomorrow of each of these mitzvahs, giving a definite definition of each.
Okay, Roy, you're elected. That's a great idea.
Yeah, well, it's not this. Yeah, okay. All right. Anyway.
Okay.
I don't like your sense of humor. All right. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, the others will be here anyway, probably tomorrow, so
Bezos Hashem, yes.
they will need to have a review. Okay, thanks very much.
All the best.
See you tomorrow. Should all be well. Okay, bye for now.
Amen.